In this video, you're going to learn how to stay mentally focused during games. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now before we get into the video, if you're an athlete looking to improve your mental game, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we put out new videos each day on sports psychology and mental training. It's so important for you as an athlete to be mentally focused during a game. But it's not always the easiest thing to do because there are so many distractions such as the playing conditions, coaches, fans, your opponent, and also your mindset, right? What you're thinking about. There are all of these things and all of these factors that are working against your attention. But for you to perform your best, you need to be able to control your attention. So what I want to do is go through some different sports psychology tools that you can use to help control your focus during a game. Tool number one is to focus on your breath. Your breathing is something that you can really use to control your focus because your breathing is taking place in this moment. So let's use an example of you're losing focus because you're thinking about a mistake you just made. What you can do in that moment is bring your attention back into the present moment. One of the best ways to do that is by focusing on your breath. Whenever I'm working with an athlete and we're trying to control their attention and we're talking about using their breath to do so, the thing I always recommend in the moment is to use some count breathing. So you're not just going to simply try to take some deep breaths. You're going to do something known as count breathing, where you breathe in for, let's say, a count of 5, and you breathe out for a count of 10. Now, what this does is, number one, you're taking deep breaths. So you're focusing more on your breath, and that's going to help center your attention in this present moment. But number two, you're focusing on the numbers. And whenever you're losing focus during a game, typically what's happening is you're thinking about something you don't want to be thinking about. Yes, you've lost focus on the present. Your focus has found something else to be placed on. What you want to do is pull it back to yourself, pull it back into the present moment. So by focusing on the numbers, you're not going to then simultaneously be thinking about whatever distracting thing or whatever factor was causing you to lose focus in the first place. Tool number two is to use a self-talk routine. Like I just said, in terms of using your breath, whenever you're losing focus, you're thinking about something you don't want to be thinking about. What do you have to do to control your focus? Well, you got to take control of your thoughts. The best way for you to take control of your thoughts is by implementing a self-talk routine. And the reason that I say a self-talk routine is because outside of the game is where you're going to come up with what you want to say to yourself. Because in that moment where you're losing focus, your mind is already distracted. So you don't want to then ask yourself to think about all of these things that you can say to yourself to help control your attention, all these things that are going to boost your confidence. It's going to be difficult in that moment to think of those things. But what you do outside of your sport, outside of the game, is you can come up with a list. And that list can be statements that you say to yourself that are going to center your attention in the present moment. Things that you say to yourself that are going to boost your confidence, help calm yourself down. And then you repeat them. So that's where the routine comes into play. That's your self-talk routine. You begin repeating them to yourself every single day. Then what you do when you're losing focus during a game is you repeat those self-talk statements. You've got them memorized, they're ingrained into your mind because you're repeating them on a daily basis. And so during the game, just bring them into your mind. That's going to help you refocus because it's taking your attention off of those distractors and bringing it onto the present moment. Tool number three is to set goals for the game. Goals provide you something very clear and concrete for you to focus on. And whenever you're losing focus, yes, you're thinking about something else, but the reason you're thinking about something else a lot of times is because you don't know what to focus on. You don't have something very tangible that you want to be placing your focus on. And these goals are going to help. Now, what kind of goals are we talking about? We're talking about process goals, better known as performance objectives. Things that are part of your process that you know if I focus on this, that's going to help me perform better. You don't want to simply say, hey, my goal for today, if you're a baseball player, is to get 3 hits. That's a great goal, don't get me wrong, but that's not going to help you control your focus. Because during a game, what can happen is if you get out for your first 2 at-bats, you're not going to have as much focus going into your 3rd at-bat probably because you're thinking about the fact that you just got out 2 times and now your chances of getting those 3 hits is that much lower. You want to set your goals to be part of the process so it's easy for you to focus on them, and by thinking about them and focusing on them, you are improving your performance. So let's use that baseball player example. A goal for that baseball player could be, I want to focus on staying balanced at the plate. Or my goal is, I want to focus on my pre-at-bat routine every single time before I step into the batter's box. By focusing on those small aspects, those small goals, that puts you in a position to succeed during the game. But more than that, it is controlling your attention because now you know exactly what you need to be focusing on in that moment. And it's in that moment, so for a baseball player, going up to bat, if you lose focus in that moment, that's going to probably hurt you in that at-bat. But if you can control focus by focusing on your objectives, that's going to help you be more focused in that at-bat. So those are the 3 tools that you can use as an athlete to control your focus during a game. You can focus on your breath, use a self-talk routine, and set some goals for the game, better known as performance objectives. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about one-on-one mental performance coaching, head over to successstartswithin.com.